With the Biden administration failing to hit its much ballyhooed vaccine goal, the blame game is on, and you'll be less than surprised to learn that absolutely none of that failure is Joe Biden's fault. I mean, come on, it's not like the President of the United States should be held accountable for his own messaging campaign. Rather, the White House has assured the American people that the real culprits here are Facebook posts, of course. Yes, Democrats blaming Facebook and social media in general for their failures worked so well after the 2016 election that they are trying to run the same play again. Now, before we get too far into this, let's take a quick commercial break to pay some bills. Our health and patience have really been challenged, so I found a remedy that works. 100% pure ESS 60 is incredible, and now you can buy it directly from the lab. They call it a miracle molecule because people sleep better, enjoy more energy, and mental focus with a simple spoonful in the morning. You can mix it in your salad, rub it on a steak, or even dip your bread in it. ESS 60 comes in 3 delicious organic oils: olive, avocado, and MCT coconut. This groundbreaking blend supports your immune system with powerful antioxidants and antiviral properties. ESS 60 delivers more than 172 times the power of vitamin C. It's such a powerful antioxidant that it helps neutralize free radicals to assist with detoxification. Don't wait to order your ESS 60 oil directly from the lab. You're going to love it, and it's good for pets too. Get $10 off today at www.c60evo.com/conservative resurgence. That's www.c60evo.com/conservative resurgence, or click that link in the description box. Okay, so as you probably heard yesterday, Joe Biden asserted that social media companies were, quote, killing people by allowing misinformation to spread about the bat stew vaccines. Nightmare Elementary School Assistant Principal Jen Psaki backed that up by making Facebook's moderation choices a key issue instead of, Biden's leadership.
Providing for Facebook or other platforms to measure and publicly share the impact of misinformation on their platform and the audience it's reaching. Also with the public, with all of you, to create robust enforcement strategies that bridge their properties and provide transparency about rules. You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there.
Now, in normal times, such a ridiculous obfuscation of responsibility would be labeled for what it is. Yet, here in our hyper-partisan environment, Biden and his cohorts must be protected at all costs. As a result, you get insanity like this from people who are ostensibly journalists. Dylan Byers tweeted out, Facebook officials, quote, "In private exchanges, the Surgeon General has praised our work, including our efforts to inform people about COVID-19. They knew what they were doing. The White House is looking for scapegoats for missing their vaccine goals," unquote. He goes on to say, in sum, the President of the United States is accused the world's most powerful social media network of, quote, killing people by not doing enough to combat misinformation. He finished up by saying the company has responded by accusing the President of missing vaccine goals and passing the buck. Did you get all that? The media reporter over at NBC News would like you to know that the president blaming a private social media company for his failures is not passing the buck. Rather, it's passing the buck when that social media company doesn't accept Biden's attempt to blame them for his administration's inability to meet their goals. Makes sense, right? You usually have to pay for propaganda that's shameless. Here's another example, this time from a writer from The New York Times. Cecilia Kang tweeted out, "Whoa, remarkable statement. So much tension between White House and Facebook right now." Heard from a source that White House incredibly frustrated after months of asking Facebook for data on vaccine misinfo that company, despite saying in public they want to work with White House, isn't sharing. Now folks, why in the hell would Facebook need to give the White House information on vaccine misinformation? That would seem like a massive breach of privacy regarding the users and a clear attempt to subvert the First Amendment by proxy. Further, even if the White House got that information, what exactly are they going to do with it? Maybe somehow make people get the vaccine at a higher rate? Yet, instead of noting that Biden's demands are unreasonable and likely ineffectual anyways, King blamed Facebook for not acquiescing. You see, all of this is calculated to further the idea that Biden isn't responsible for his own faceplant. Let's pass the Pravda-like narrative pushing. The excuse itself doesn't wash. The most vaccine-hesitant group in the country are Black Americans. So let me get this straight. Let's zero in on the bullshit. We are to believe that members of a demographic that voted 90+% Democrat are secretly taking their cues from supposed anti-vax MAGA accounts. Really? No. What makes far more sense is that Biden just really sucks at his job, to the extent that he even attempts to perform the duties of it, even in relation to his most loyal voters. In short, nothing is our special needs fearless leader Joe Biden's fault, just like nothing was Barack Obama's fault, and nothing is nasty Nancy Pelosi's fault, so on and so forth. Not the massive inflation, not the exploding gas prices, not the foreign policy screw-ups, not the border crisis for sure, and certainly not the shortcomings of his own vaccine program.
Yesterday at the White House, and this was during the press briefing, the Biden administration made clear that they're going to stop at nothing to put a complete stranglehold on all the available information about COVID. They're working with Facebook. We're helping to get trusted content out there. Now, the phrase gets overused, but this is Orwellian. Orwell is doing backflips in the grave. And they're not even embarrassed by this. In fact, they thought that the messaging of their coordination with these behemoth social media companies, that it was so effective, so on point, they actually sent the Surgeon General out on the morning show circuit to sharpen the point.
The other thing that we are doing is we've been in conversation with technology companies. We're going to ratchet up certainly those conversations and engagements. We believe technology companies have a responsibility to reduce the spread of misinformation on their platforms. It's not simply enough to take a couple of steps and say, this might get better in a few years. The tech companies have taken some steps forward, and I appreciate that. But there is so much more they have to do, and they've got to do it with greater urgency.
You need to be better at being state media, or we're going to punish you. Well, they're going to tell you this is all about the disinformation out there that's causing COVID deaths. But I'm going to tell you what we think this is really all about. They want to see how far they can push the social media companies to control the message out there that they think is inconvenient to them, way ahead of 2022 and 2024. Because does anyone believe these emergency crackdowns on misinformation can't or won't extend to other declared emergencies? Well, they're going to declare a lot of emergencies. I can think of a few: climate, race, guns, never ending. It's always some emergency. And while we're on the subject, who've really been the purveyors of all this misinformation out there? Now, wasn't it the WHO that repeated China's lies about no human-to-human transmission of COVID that Fauci and his friends, of course, accepted? And wasn't it Fauci himself who said masks should not be worn by healthy people before flipping and then flipping again? And now we have new information that perhaps questions masking of children. Now, wasn't it the medical bureaucracy that shut down any conversation about effective therapies and alternative drugs, therapeutics? Some of those are effective. Now, we should be very, very wary of what's going on here, especially ahead of next year's midterms. I think the Democrats know their agenda is falling apart. From immigration to runaway inflation, the signs are all there. They know that this voting rights abomination is going to go down in flames. They need something else to jack the vote next year and to try to stave off a landslide Republican series of victories. And who better to help lend a hand in the lead up than their pals in big tech?
So I guess just enjoy your ice cream. Just deal with the crappy reality we've been handed in lieu of some mean tweets. Most of this came by way of redstate.com. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.